just finished watching the reveal stream and the Q&A with CUD, and essentially, the vast majority of shit that the community has been asking for was basically given, and then some. There's a couple of things that was not provided, such as Mark mentioning them not really being sure if they were like happy or not unhappy about the armor changes, which is indicating that we might not see any armor changes at all, which is kind of disappointing. But regarding defenses, they did talk about energy shield being too strong, so they're surely going to see some changes there. However, we don't get the patch notes till next week. So we can only base comments and whatnot of what we've been hearing them talk about in the reveal stream and the Q&A, right? However, people have been complaining a lot about towers. Let's start with that. Towers are getting fucking massive changes. Massive changes. So they're going to have considerably fewer towers available to the Atlas, and you're going to be able to juice them up more times depending on how hard the map is that you're running the tower with. I think this is a great changes, and I think that this is a good middle ground because I don't think it's a good idea to remove the towers because they do fulfill a rather good purpose of not making the Atlas feel hollow or empty, or shallow is a better word actually. But the towers definitely need some attention. I think that this rework is a good middle ground. Obviously, we have to play test this before we can make up our mind and see where we land with this. Other cool changes regarding the endgame is also introducing corrupted zones or sections inside the Atlas, which is going to be being the objective you're going to run through to cleanse these corruptions by basically navigating the maps into the center of the corruption and doing the nexus, I think they called it, to cleanse the corruption. And that's going to be the objective to get Atlas passive skill tree points. If you can clear every map that's corrupted, and there's associated type of enemies and rewards and mechanics you can engage with there, and then you can cleanse the corruption, or you can skip doing the extra maps around it that is corrupted and beeline the nexus to cleanse the corruption, which makes those corrupted maps that are now cleansed maps, which has another type of endgame approach to it that you can do, and another type of rewards from that, which is apparently more currency oriented, where those enemies don't drop gear, they drop currency instead, which is quite interesting. And they're also introducing something that has been very, very, very highly recommended and asked for in the community, and there's been introducing more crafting systems, and they're going to introduce the fracturing orb, which is insanely good. And what a fracturing orb does is that you can fracture a modifier on an item that has 4 or more modifiers, which will be completely random, equally weighted which mod is getting fractured. And a fractured mod is a mod that cannot go away from the item, so whether or not you're corrupting it or you're using chaos orbs on it, that fractured modifier cannot go away. So this will introduce another layer of type of crafting method. And they said that if you kill a boss or whatever it is in the corrupted, in a cleansed zone, that's like a guaranteed fracture orbs. It's not like these are going to be super rare. And they said that on average, you're going to drop 1 fracture orb per biome that you're cleansing or doing all the maps. It's like a sealed affix if you compare it to last epoch. Yeah, kinda. That would be a decent way to describe it, I would say. They're also, regarding crafting, adding and introducing recombinators, which is going to be gated behind the expedition mechanics. So if you do the expedition, they said that the idea was that if you do that, you should have a pretty easy access to engage with recombinators to smack 2 items together to create one with modifiers taken from both items at random. So that's very, very interesting. They also did something that I'm very happy about, because I'm not a big fan of the omens when it comes to meta crafting. They're guaranteeing each ritual window of rewards picks that you're choosing to spend your favor on will always have at least 1 omen inside those windows, which hopefully will allow us to have a higher access or more access to these omens for crafting, which is very good. Speaking of endgame, a lot of other changes have happened. Tier 0 bosses, the first in-game bosses, will be significantly easier than has been before, and then up to Tier 4, they're at the same difficulty they are in the current state of the game. They're giving us 6 map portals per player, and if you have the system they had now that they were shown in the reveal stream was that if you had harder map modifiers on your waystones, or waystone modifiers, things, as you know, the Roman salute guy was saying, you will then have fewer maps per player, fewer portals to use per player. So the harder you roll a map, the more punished you are for dying. That means that the initial end game allows it to be more easier for players to get into. You're not punished as hard for dying. They're increasing and improving the map sustain approach for players as well, which is really, really cool. So those things were really nice to see. It's going to be fun to play with this. I'm very excited for it. Bunch of new league mechanics, mechanical changes in general to the gameplay feel. They're introducing Rogue Exiles, which we see in Path of Exile 1. Something that's really cool with this is that Rogue Exiles in PoE 1, when you kill one, they drop one item of each item slot, because it's essentially just another NPC player, right? And that was a good way to find jewelries in PoE 1, for example, and belts and whatnot. However, in PoE 2, they'll do the same, but they will have modifiers, and that modifiers that they have will sometimes say, well, they're wearing this or that unique item. And basically what happens is that every item slot that the Rogue Exiles will be wearing has a chance to roll a unique item, which the Rogue Exile will actually have equipped whilst you're fighting it. And when you kill it, it will drop that unique item as well. And they said that that's an individual roll per item slot. So, I mean, if you're astronomically lucky, I guess, you can have a Rogue Exile that has one of every single slot being a unique item, which is, you know, rarer than a mirror, is my understanding. But that's something that's really cool to see as well. However, they did say that we're not, well, they didn't say it, but they did not mention anything about a druid. So we are getting a huntress. No mention of Einar and those things. So we're not getting more new classes other than the Huntress with 3 different ascendancies. We have the Amazon, Ritualist, and the Huntress. 2 ascendancies, my bad. And then they've added a 3rd ascendancy for a couple of classes. And most importantly, my beloved witch is getting the Lich. The goddamn Lich is coming. And they're getting a Spectres, they're getting a Roa Mount, mostly for range spells. They're adding some sort of like animated minion companion. They're adding the animated guardian thing. They're adding for the warrior, getting the Smith of Kitava or whatever it was. And that one's getting animated weapon. Like, there's so many minion stuff that we're getting. I don't even know where to begin. Actually, I do know exactly where to begin. Obviously, I'll be hunting down Spectres, and I'm going to cosplay Ash Ketchum and just go in there trying to catch them all. It's kind of my approach to it. I'm very excited for this. It's going to be very fun to see. And the Lich is just... We're basically going to be going through these things on stream here after going through this little summary. I will say, though, that there's a couple of things that were negative, like the armor stuff. I was a little disappointed in that. It feels like with one new class and not all classes getting their 3rd ascendancy, that to me seems like an indicator that we might not see Path of Exile 2 officially launch this year. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But it seems like that's going to not be the case, and that we're more likely looking at maybe a summer release next year. That's how it feels, at least, from my current take from what we've seen in the reveal so far. Is there anything I missed, chat? That's kind of like the major takes, right? Obviously, there's the other things, such as them adding 100+ uniques or whatever it was, 100 new support gems, and it's just absolutely massive with what they're doing. There's going to be so many more support skills, the support gems than it is to active skill gems, and providing more variety and diversification in the game as a result of that. So I'm very excited for that. And I don't know, I watched this and my mind just blown away, like completely exploded from all the minion stuff that they were giving us. I've been sitting there with this humongous itch right now. I just want to play it. So that's happening. Very excited for that. We did see a Reddit teaser with us being able to Spectre bosses. I'm not sure how that's going to be, if that's going to be something we'll see or not. They didn't really dive into that too much, right? Crafting is really cool. The essence changes that they made is really, really interesting. Introduction regarding endgame stuff. They did talk about introducing unique maps to further double down on some of the mechanics with unique strong boxes as well. And some essences were really cool. For example, you can use a Vol Orb on an essence that can add a new essence to it or upgrade the essence to it. And the unique maps look really cool for it as well, further doubling down on these effects as well. And that kind of just sums up the summarizing of what we've seen in the reveal stream so far. I don't want to like make an hour-long video talk about it. I just want to have like a small gist of my take and my experiences, or rather reactions from watching it. I'm super excited for this. And yeah, I'll leave a link down below to the page I'm looking at right now. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been having a blast going through this reveal. What I'm most excited about is the consistent flow of content reveals the way GGG does it. Because they always give us really cool teasers, hypes us the fuck up, and moves the bar up so high. And every time they have a reveal, they completely blow it away and overperform. And they've done this consistently. There's only been like two reveals that I've seen in the past 11 years of playing Path of Exile that they have not done this, in my opinion. And this one was no different. I'm very excited for this, and I hope you guys are. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are most excited for. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Till then, stay safe. Keep rocking.